Sarah Emma Edmonds was born in December 1841 in New Brunswick, Canada. Her life as a child was a challenge that she had to face each day. Sarah's father always resented her because she was a girl and he'd always wanted a boy. She tried very hard to prove to her father that she was good enough, but his temper grew as she got older. In 1857, she left her home with her mother to avoid his emotional abuse. She moved from New Brunswick to Moncton, Canada. She lived in Moncton, Canada for about a year, but feared her father would find her, so she then decided to move to the United States. To do this, she needed to disguise herself as a man, so she cut her hair, bought men's clothing, and changed her name to Franklin Thompson. She moved to Hartford, Connecticut, where she found a job as a Bible salesman. She adapted very quickly, and her love for the country increased daily. She soon knew she wanted to defend and fight for the United States. Sarah was living in Flint, Michigan when they first asked for citizens to enlist as a Union Army member. When she heard this, she immediately knew she wanted to enlist. It took Sarah 4 times to get sworn into the Union Army, but she succeeded. On May 25, 1861, Edmonds was put into the 2nd Michigan Infantry as a 3-year recruit. On April 25, 1861, Franklin Thompson became a nurse in the 2nd Volunteers in the United States Army. Sarah and her unit were sent to Virginia to be a part of McClellan's campaign after they finished their training in Washington, D.C. There she was assigned a male nurse position in the 2nd Michigan Volunteers Hospital Unit. Edmonds was assigned the job of a mail carrier for the regiment in March of 1862. And the next month, the 2nd Michigan Unit was sent out to Virginia like she had been previously. From April 5th to May 4th, the regiment took part in the siege of Yorktown. During that time, Sarah heard that the McClellan staff were looking for a person to act as a spy before the campaign. Franklin Thompson bravely volunteered and received the job as a spy. Her fake identity was a black man. Her sidekick in the mission was the wife of a local chaplain. The wife was the only person on the Confederate side who knew her identity as Franklin Thompson. To darken her skin, she used silver nitrate and she got a black wig to wear. Her name as a black man was Cuff. Sarah encountered many battles. In May of 1862, the regiment came under a large fire during the Battle of Williamsburg. Sarah was caught right in the middle of it. She played many different roles in the battle. One was fighting with the army, and another was transferring wounded soldiers from the battlefield to the nurse tents. In the summer of 1862, she returned to her previous job as a mail carrier. This time around was more dangerous than before. She journeyed more than 100 miles in territory filled with violent groups. Sarah and the 2nd Michigan were involved in the Battle of 2nd Manassas. She worked as a courier during the battle and was forced to ride a mule instead of her horse, who was recently killed. The mule threw her into a ditch, which caused her to break her leg and suffer from internal injuries, which restricted her for the rest of her life. In 1863, Sarah was diagnosed with malaria and requested a furlough, which was later denied. She did not want medical attention from the Army because she feared she would be discovered. So she left her fellow soldiers, and Frank Thompson was charged with desertion. After her recovery, Edmonds, no longer in disguise, worked with the United States Christian Commission as a female nurse from June 1863 until the end of the war. Sarah shared her journey in the memoir she wrote called Nurse and Spy in the Union Army. It was released in 1862. She also donated the money made from her book to various soldiers' aid groups. In 1867, Sarah married Linus Seeley. They later had 3 children. Sarah attended a reunion of 2nd Michigan and was warmly welcomed by her fellow soldiers. They also helped her have this charge of desertion removed from her records, and they supported her application for the military pension. This was accomplished 8 years later, and she was awarded with pension in 1884. On September 5, 1898, Edmonds died at her home in LaPorte, Texas. She was buried later in 1901 at Washington Cemetery in Houston with military honors. Sarah Emma Edmonds was a true hero. Not only does her story have heroic elements such as journey, obstacle, goal, bravery, and perseverance, but she has changed lives after her.